Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the second session of today's webinar. In the morning session, Dr. Rao Avupati has successfully delivered a presentation about the different methods of writing a scientific paper. In a continuation to that, the second speaker of today will be talking about the citations and referencing while you publish an article or while you review an article. So in order to do that, we have a speaker who's very known to everybody who's following us for the past few webinars. He is none other than Dr. Vasudeva Rao Avupati, who very successfully, and I would like to repeat that once again, who very successfully gave an interesting presentation about plagiarism. He is back with us today to give us a further detailing about citations and referencing. For all of us following us for the first time, I would like to request Dr. P. Pawan Kumar to please take over the platform and introduce the speaker to our guests once again. Sir, to you.
Very good afternoon all. The participants from various organizations and members of Chebrula Hanumaya Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences for conducting such a valuable event, that is an international webinar on guidance to write scientific paper and importance of citation and referencing of publications, which gives an essential information for everybody involved in scientific research at all stages. Now I would like to give a brief introductory note on Dr. Vasudeva Rao Avupati. He is completed his bachelor's of pharmacy from Maharaja College, Vizianagaram, and master's in pharmaceutical chemistry specialization from Andhra University. Dr. Vasudeva Rao was awarded his PhD in pharmaceutical sciences from Andhra University in 2013 under the expert guidance of Dr. Y. Rajendra Prasad. He was awarded CSIR Senior Research Fellowship by Government of India for completing his PhD degree. He is a registered pharmacist, an young scientist, an expert in the field of design and synthesis of bioactive hybrid molecules, computational drug discovery, with a focus of pioneering on hit-to-lead optimizations associated with the development of novel bioactive ligands to fight against multifactorial diseases. Few of his achievements include he was recipient of the International Medical University E-Learning Achievement Award 2019. Dr. Vasudeva Rao Avupati, an innovator of technology-enhanced learning strategies and a principal investigator of prestigious FRGS Grant 2019 awarded by Ministry of Education Malaysia. In International Medical University Learning Resource Festival Innovacy Competition 2019, Dr. Vasudeva Rao won a gold medal for his e-learning innovation project showcase entitled Virtual Innovations Through Simulation Training and Assessment. In the second Higher Education Leadership Meet 2019, the Venus International Foundation recognized and confirmed him as a young leader in health and medical sciences discipline. Dr. Vasudeva Rao is currently a senior research in pharmaceutical chemistry department, an e-learning lead in School of Pharmacy at International Medical University, Malaysia. He developed innovative teaching learning methodologies for various course modules based on new drug discovery in undergraduate and postgraduate programs at International Medical University, which helps students to practice theories and principles of drug discovery and development. This, now I request Dr. Vasudeva Rao to proceed on to the session. Thank you.
Well, thank you all organizing committee members, April Army Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences. And at this point of time, I would like to firstly thank International Medical University for providing permission and grant opportunity to participate in this wonderful section. And without any further delay, I'm going to share my slides. And today's topic will be on citation and referencing, basic instructional training. Excuse me, I'm facing some technical problem to share. Just a moment. Can you all able to see my slides?
Yes, sir. Please keep it in full screen, sir.
It's taking time. Well,
Yes, sir.
it's good to go.
Yes, sir.
I think this is obstructing. Okay, welcome dear participants to citation and referencing, basic instructional training on management tools. Myself, Dr. Vasudeva Rao from International Medical University, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. The aim of today's webinar section is to enhance your knowledge on concepts of citation and referencing, not simply theoretical matters, with emphasis on basic literature search and application skills of reference management tools useful for your research. The intended learning outcomes of today's section develop based on the expected outcomes acquired upon completion of this webinar. A general knowledge of the standard practices in citing references and understand its importance. Acquired skills to use online and standalone reference management tools to organize and cite various sources of the literature. What's the primary objective of doing this webinar? This webinar, my primary objective is to enhance the academic integrity. The best practices involved in developing a research manuscript, one of the backbone is citation and referencing. So in order to have better understanding of citation and referencing, this knowledge section is going to focus on main approach. This is the 5W1H approach. I'm going to use this for the facilitation of today's section. This approach, what is this approach? 5W1H. This is one of the famous approach where we can see all the journalists, intelligence departments, where research scholars all will focus on this approach so that they could have the better clarity and understanding of the concept. So I am also using the same approach in today's section to address the issues related with the citation and referencing. So starting with what, who, where, when, why, and how. These are the few questions we are going to address in today's section. This approach is well known to be as 5W1H approach. So this is the webinar overview. So my overview, the content includes the approach on citation, followed by knowledge check pre-test. I just want to make sure that you all are familiar with this concept. So followed by introduction, citation sources and citation errors, basic literature search, role in academic setting, instructional training on management tools, summary, acknowledgements, followed by references. So I just want to, this is the trigger. It's an attention grabber for you all participants. Before we start discussing about the citation and referencing, do you have any basic idea? Just I want to know through a small pre-test. Is citation and referencing the same? Yes or no? Is referencing and bibliography the same? Yes or no? Just answer to yourself and stay tuned to the presentation. In the next few minutes, we are going to discuss on this. This is just a pre-test and a trigger to enhance your interest towards the next few concepts. So basically, what is a citation? If you look at the dictionary terms, citation is a reference to a source. As per the Merriam-Webster's dictionary, and a word or piece of writing taken from a written work as per Cambridge Dictionary. But basically this concept is all about the way you tell your readers that in your work came from another source. That means the source of material from which you have actually extracted some information and put it in your work, you need to identify the actual source and need to acknowledge that source. This is the general process. It is an ethical process and academic, it enhances the academic integrity. So this is one of the good practice of doing and giving acknowledgements to the real owner. I mean to say real owner. So the moment you have taken something from somewhere, you are not the actual owner of that. So you may need to give some citation and acknowledge their contribution first before you move forward with your work. So this is all about the citation process in the general phenomenon. So moving on, what are the basic citation forms? The citation and referencing basically consists of two different forms. One is in-text citations and the other one is bibliography. And dear participants, please don't forget to answer the questions raised in the pretest and keep the answer to yourself, and we will be discussing on that. In-text citations and bibliography. These are the basic forms of citation and referencing. So now I just want to make sure that whether this citation and referencing both are same or different. If they are different, in what way they are different from each other? Just look at the clearly mentioned the citation and referencing differences characteristics with respect to a specific source that is mentioned in the body of the work, meaning to say that within the text, body of the work, within the paragraph, if you cite them, so that proper process is called citation. If you consider keeping all together the compiled information at the end of the document, a list of resources, that is a referencing process. Well, moving on to the second point, includes the name of the author and publication date. That is very limited information. Some limited information will only be provided with respect to the citation. Whereas in case of referencing and other information, name, title of the journal, the page numbers, volume, issue, and all the others. So a full-fledged description will be given with respect to a particular work. So the next point found in the body of the work is a generalized one, found at the end of the work. So this, why I would like to mention this point, because to make more clarity on the emphasizing on the clear description and clear differences between these two, and also termed as in-text citation. This is in-text citation. Well, bibliography is also same as reference. Bibliography is same as reference, which also includes the citations and might not be mentioned in the text. So, dear participants, you need to carefully understand here one point. References will only include the cited documents that is mostly related to the journal publications and articles and else what else. But in case of bibliography, all the other informations which includes starting from the beginning, the acknowledgements like taking help from some other persons to do this research. So taking help from some other person to do this research. So that can be also incorporated in the case of bibliography. So bibliography is a complete information about any particular project, rather than reference is a limited information pertaining to a document or paragraphs. Okay, moving on. So I think you already have your answers with you. So the answer is Is citation and referencing the same? Answer is no, both are different. In what way they are different? One is within the text, the other one is end of the document. Well, because since actually they have only two options, yes and no, so we need to select the correct descriptor. So here the option is no. There may be some other reasons to explain and defend, but the answer is no. So in referencing and bibliography are the same? No, definitely no. Why? Because bibliography includes several additional informations like other authors' contributions and informal contributions and different all associated technical persons matters. All those things can be included in the bibliography. So this is how the differences exist between citation and referencing and the referencing and bibliography. So the next one, who is doing it? Who is actually practicing this citation and referencing? If you look at the academic setting, students, academic scholars, faculty, and all various disciplines engagement. So all will be engaged in doing this citation and referencing. And this is not only limited to an academic discipline, that's what I want to say. This is not only citation and referencing, there is a misconception. Citation and referencing is not only limited to a publication or a paper or a document. It's applicable to across various sources and various disciplines involved in the global working environment. So if you just have a look into what are the various types stepping stones of plagiarism. So just I'm not actually much emphasizing on plagiarism in this webinar, since I already much discussed about various forms of plagiarism and best practices to avoid all those things in the earlier section. You can access the section from the Chabrol Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences channel. Well, stepping stones of plagiarism. What happened here was student assignment report submitted. The teacher replied 100 plus plagiarized document and student categorized under failure candidate. Why? What could be the possible reason? And students have already given briefing on how to do the best practices of plagiarism. Unfortunately, student limited knowledge, that meaning to say, the activities such as paraphrasing, quoting, and summarizing, which are considered as the best practices for plagiarism, have unfortunately not cited. Because without citation, these practices also considered as plagiarism. That's what exactly meaning to say. So paraphrasing does not mean that you are doing a non-plagiarized activity. Quotations, giving quotations does not mean that you are doing a non-plagiarized activity. At the same time, summarizing the information does not mean that you are not doing a plagiarism. So along with these three things, you also simultaneously do citation and referencing. Well, in the citation and referencing process, if you miss, this could be the successful stepping stones to do the plagiarism. And this plagiarism could be intentional or unintentional. Next one, how do I decide whether to cite a source? Dear participant, this is an interesting one. I have to give credentials to the Cardiff University for developing such a wonderful flow scheme chart to decide whether I need to do the citation or not. So this is the very good decision-making flow chart. In order to look at the flow chart. Should I cite? It's very interesting. Is it a code? Okay, if yes, cite please. Okay. No, then move ahead. And this is a paraphrase. Yes, cite it. And this is another's idea or theory. Please also do citation. So This is how you can actually take. If all the three questions answered no, then you can move forward ahead to one more step. If you just closely observe this step, there is no need to cite if it is common knowledge or your own thoughts. If it is your own idea, if it is your own thought, no need to give citation. Upon doing publication or submission to any other university, the fellow researchers who do refer your work will cite for you. That could be the possible opportunity to get more citations and your H index will be enhanced. Okay, this is how to take decision whether to cite a source or not. This is well established force scheme and based on the three things. And later on, just it's an illustration to show that how to avoid plagiarism. The best practice could be quotation with citation, paraphrasing along with citation, summarizing along with citation. Then you would be really doing a wonderful job that without doing any such plagiarism, and your work will be having good credential to secure a good grade. Okay, our next point of discussion will be citation source styles. This is an excellent work done by author James Watt. So, based on the research analysis done, these are the various forms of citation sources have been identified. These identified sources can be cited. That is the citable sources, but not limited to these. Dear participants, that's what I want to clearly mention at this point of time. Citation is referencing not limited to scholarly journals or published everywhere in media, in documentations, even in music. So several fields are actually there. But in case of academic setting, these are some of the most widely used cited document sources. So look at the citations various, and majority percentage goes to journals. That is the reason why most of us, including me, when I don't know what's the perfect knowledge about the citation, I may think that only the journal is suitable for the citation. No other is not applicable. No need to do any citation. Such type of perception may be there. Because since we are unaware of the things, what's going on, and lack of knowledge might be takes place, and I'm talking about the basic researchers and students. It's not to annoy or offend any other person who is a professor or a well-known person. Okay. So just moving on, these are the various citation sources. If you closely have a look into majority citations received for two components, I could see books and journals. And this is very good work done by author James Watt. And the question rises again. What is the question? Why should I cite a paper? Once again, this type of questions will actually drives the knowledge in a different direction, because these are negative questions. But questioning like that will have better understanding, and these type of questions will be the enabler to understand the concept in detail to the better level of depth. So if you look at the perception of students, just may ask for why should they cite a paper? It's a quite general question. Then, as an academic faculty member and an academic professional, we may need to take responsibility to make all the students familiar with the different pros and cons as well. Pros and cons associated with this citation process and referencing process, so that the students may be familiar completely with having good knowledge on the citation and referencing, so that they can move ahead throughout the course. They follow an ethical practice to do the citation in their assignments. So first one is just, I don't want to read all the material, just at a glance I cover the information. Historical facts, because since the citation actually shows when this particular work actually started back in some 19th century or 18th century or 17th century, whatever. The chronological information associated with that particular work will be clearly depicted through a citation. So citation is also very important to record the existence of that particular area of research. Next, continuing research, cited paper finish. That means the continuing research based on the citations, we can see that which particular area is actually attaining more importance in the current scenario. For example, if neurological disorders are getting a lot of citations, more number of citations in frontier journals and so on, meaning to say that in that area of research, global perspective is focusing. So based on the citation, we can also understand the importance of that particular research area. Next, followed by, and also we can understand, and we have the knowledge of ideas, definitions, and various different terms existing in the research field, and refer to the data and current research, and similarities from the data usage. That means what is the reproducibility of the earlier studies. Is there any close correlation between your study and the study that has already been conducted earlier? So such kind of hypothesis, interpretation, analysis, all these things can be made possible by doing citation. So this will actually enhances the global research space, and it will emphasize and instill some new knowledge to the budding scholars. This new knowledge can carry forward, and the related area will be much more focused by the related discipline scientific professionals. And the methodologies and protocols, which are very important to repeat reproducibility. One of the most important thing about citation is that the reproducibility of the method or protocol whichever reported earlier in the previous cited document. So the material, the methodology part, what we actually take into consideration to use in our research. Our research could be a validation to the reported method. So dear participants, so these are some other additional benefits are there. As you can see, some citations, some papers can also project the positive outcomes. At the same time, so don't think that research is always positive. Sometimes we may fail so many reactions. Sometimes there could be no outcome. Even if you work months together, all of a sudden, the moment you receive the NMR, IR, mass, sorry, I'm talking about the pharmaceutical chemistry point of view. I can give some example like structural elucidation. You may think that looking at a compound, the formed compound, oh, very good compound formed, you may be celebrating of getting good successful result of your compound. The moment you receive the spectra or structural confirmations, NMR, IR, mass spectra, if the result is not consistent, then you could understand this is another compound or the actual reaction is failed. So positive outcome and negative outcome both can be evaluated by citing. Ongoing research giving proof statements in the cited paper. We can give some proof statements, meaning to say that proof of concept. Some concept may be working in your mind. You may be thinking of developing some novel model, and that model is just a concept. Once upon performing the model development, everything, and publish with full details, this could be a proof of concept, and this would be entered into the normal application. And ongoing research giving rebuttal of statements of cited paper. Pre-mortal information is nothing but it's a review papers, developing a systematic review, meta-analysis, or a comprehensive review. So these are all very good opportunities to the researchers when they develop their literature review introduction part of their thesis. So giving new interpretation to the finding statements in cited paper, meaning to say that identifying new uses of the existing models. For example, identifying new uses of the existing model, meaning to say that already one product approved for one single particular use. The same product, if you could able to identify a different and more specific application, you can get patent. It could be an intellectual property. Why? Because this is a new projection of the same product existing. So like that, you can actually perform some new interpretations and new findings of the existing knowledge. Okay, this is how, why actually the author need to cite a paper. This is the complete information I talked about. So now I just entering slowly into technical matters, because upon some time, completion of some time, because we may be entering into the citation management tools, instructional training. So general methods to cite. What are the general methods to cite? Dear participants, most often when if you closely look into most of the scholars and during those days, I'm not actually don't want to mention the exact time period, but most of them, they use it to work manually taking note with, typing manually and taking note of the reference information, searching into the periodical documents at the library, at the central library, and climb the ladder to get the information of the periodical journals stock and stored in the different states of the central library to take note of the information with manual hand, and later on they converted documents into typing. So manual entry is the most widely used technique before. Now the ICT, information communication technologies, accelerated like anything. So many new techniques have also been came into existence, and this one of the best thing which is available in the current scenario to do the best things are using citation management tool. Citation management tool. This citation management tool is an online based platform, or it can be a standalone software, provided it is an electronic resource. So one is manual, the other one is electronic resource. These are the two general methods to cite the information from various sources. So the next point will be citation errors by type. So dear participants, I'm not going to talk in detail about individual error, because as you all, most of you all are tertiary teachers. These are the basic things as we all know. But I will introduce to you all the different types of citation errors in this slide. And this is an excellent work done by Christie or Stevens Associate Dean. Okay, this author actually highlighted the major citation errors usually takes place when we do the citation and referencing process manually or using management tools. But however, we will look into that. Punctuation, capitalization, italics, spelling, transcription, syntax, missing elements, indenting and spacing issues, extraneous information, the information which is not at all related to the document or the context. no contextual information. That might be very different from the what actually we supposed to use. So moving on to focus point on every individual error, just a rapid at a glance idea. So punctuation. Okay, if you look at the punctuation, these are various punctuations, and these are the common, and this is one of the best research done by published in the International Journal of Linguistics, and they have noticed that most of the errors are due to comma addition. The most of the errors are due to comma addition, which covers around 45% of the area, followed by 36% goes to comma omission. That means the usage of comma is actually misused. The usage of comma in developing it, paraphrasing and summarizing or doing some grammatical construction of the sentences actually misused. So this is what the statistic, and so many other punctuations are also existing, like the semicolon, colon, and those all informations actually also present in the other literature review. But I just wanted to highlight to you all, these are the common types of citation errors, so that you will be very much careful when you are drafting your manuscript and developing your own paragraph. You just have a look on all this at a glance and just keep it in mind that the errors may be of different dimensions. So not only the error is due to the technical or scientific matters, this also may be these like punctuation errors and the grammatical errors also may take place. That's what I want to say. Capitalization and italics, even this might be considered as very minor thing, but still it's an error. So please take it as serious. So even capitalization and italics, for example, just let me give you a very good example. If you keep a biological name, scientific name of any plant species in capital letters and communicate to the topmost journal, what you will face? Immediate the desk rejection. The desk rejection, not even they don't see what is there in the abstract or what is there in the introduction or what else, because the basic scientific standard, you need to keep the italics to the scientific name, the biological name, also you did not follow. So this is how actually the small mistakes also will actually create a greater impact. So that's what I mean to say. So next one, spelling and transcription. Even spelling errors are considering creating a lot of problem. They have actually considered developed. This is very good research done by Bestigen and Swillian Granger. This is very nice categorizing spelling errors to SSL to writing skills. And they have developed several categories. It's all together 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Total 9 categories of spelling errors they have actually developed. Out of these 9 categories, the majority, that is 24%, is occupying many. What does it mean by many? According to the article, the many states that more than 2 errors, or that means the combination of above defined errors. So the combination of spelling errors are also be taking place mostly. Yes, that's how the spelling errors also will matters in the citation. Just very simple thing. If you miss one letter, just one letter from the author's name, do you think the citation goes to that particular person? No, definitely not. Why? Because it cannot be recognized by any reference management tool. This is one step. And the next one, in case any other author existing with one letter less to the name of the actual author, and this citation will go to that author rather coming to this author. So this is how, that's what I once again repeat to say that even minor mistake may create greater impact. So moving on, syntax and missing elements. Syntax and missing elements. This is what previously I emphasized mainly when I spoke about the plagiarism. So, error of omission, error of addition, misformation, misordering. These are different characteristic practices of plagiarism. I can say a plagiarizer will be very good at doing this. So 50 total 5.5 61% and 14 48% and 77 57%. That is misformations occupying the majority. So mixed formation, meaning to say that the combination of different pieces of materials obtained from different resources and combining to form it as a single resource and claiming to be as the original author. So this is all comes under the plagiarism. However, the syntax and missing elements is also considered as citation error as well. And extraneous information, indenting and spacing issues. What is this extraneous information? That means the information which is not actually related to the given assignment or given task, or the actual context of the theme of that particular article deviated due to some unrelated additional information. Not additional information. Giving additional information is actually good, but unrelated additional information will be deviate from the actual theme of the article. So this is actually not a good practice. Well, students have lost points for the following citation errors. And if you look at the following points, 81% goes to formatting citation incorrectly. Formatting citation incorrectly. What does it mean? Why? Is that citation is very big deal to do? No. Just we will look into that. Why the formatting citation incorrectly is actually occupied so much percentage, that's greater than 80. Why does citation errors occurs? So the above discussed citation or errors mainly occurs due to the manual entry. The manual entry is the actual reason why the citation errors mainly occurs. So let's look into the remedial action. Is there any chance to avoid? So, and what is the other reason? What style to use? And for example, I would mention at this point of time to you all, even your manuscript, well drafted, it's an award-winning research and everything is fine. But unfortunately, the moment you submit it to the journal, immediately you will be face a rejection. What could be the possible reason for that? Not following the journal specific guidelines. So journal specific guidelines talking about what? The journal specific guidelines mainly consists of different categories, that means different parts of the document like introduction, materials and methods. I hope the morning you had a very good section with the eminent speaker. So I just focus directly on the most important component. One of the component is citation and referencing. When the citation and referencing deviation from the actual guidelines, definitely you may face the rejection. So, first of all, I don't want to blame ourselves, meaning to say that our academicians or scholars or students, why this thing could happen, because there is no awareness of different types of references. That means the citation styles. So citation styles are actually, that's what I just wanted to say here with the funny word. One size does not fit all. So one style of reference does not fit to every single journal you are targeting to submit. For example, you may be planning to submit to Elsevier. Not elsewhere. All journals are having the same reference style. Some may use MLA style, some may use APA style, some may use Chicago style. And these styles, what is the rationale of using these styles? They have actually categorized into different disciplines. If you closely look into these different disciplines, English, literature, foreign language, communications, religious studies, these disciplines, most widely used format, the citation style is MLA. Whereas psychology, education, and etc., what APA style, and history, and all the Chicago or this one engineering, IEEE format, CSE, biology, physics, chemistry, and geology. So, dear participants, the reference style also matters. The document, the prepared manuscript will only have the weightage to get publication or to subject it for the peer review system only if you satisfy a perfect guidelines, especially because the most of the desk rejection rate will be very, very high due to improper citations. If you want, you can Google search and see it. Lots of information is all about this. Several surveys made and so many statistics showing that due to lack, and they directly, the moment you open the journal page, you could clearly see that the immediately rejected if your document is not satisfying or complying with the guidelines specified on the citation and references. And some journals actually even providing the frequently asked questions. If you look into the frequently asked questions, the first point will be citation and referencing system should follow the journal guidelines. So, dear participants, so this is all about choosing the different styles of citation. Okay, moving on. So why keep on talking so many things on citation in this section? What is the citation importance? Is there any significance there for citation? Okay, if you look at the significance, what is the role of citation in general matrices? Citation is some qualitative and also quantitative parameters such as impact factor, Eigen factor, SJR, Simagio journal ranking, AIS, article influence score. What are all these things? These are all standards, quality standards. Dear participants, these are all quality standards. If you want to submit a particular journal, immediately just reflect on your own thing. Just imagine you are submitting your own work. For what purpose you will see first? If you ask me, I will look into the citation index and followed by possible impact factor. The citation, in which citation index this journal is actually, because based on the citations, there are several academic benefits are there. What are those academic benefits? Since you all are academicians, you know very well, our research profile will be developed time to time, and our research works will be cited by the related authors who are actually working in the similar discipline, and so on. Similarly, several other benefits are there. So, role of citation is one of the key parameters to develop the quality standards such as this board, as I mentioned in this slide. So, among the 4 parameters, so just in general, if I ask anyone, among 4 parameters, which parameter anyone will say first? Impact factor. The moment a journal comes into the mind, the immediate simultaneously the follow-up issue is impact factor. What's the impact factor of this journal first? Is the impact factor derived from the journal citation reports or some other impact factor? So we will look into that. So why we have to look into that? Because this is one of the standard parameter. It is actually being approved by all the university authorities and also University Grants Commission in case of India and Ministry of Higher Education in case of Malaysia. And looking at that, so the academic regulatory bodies will need this kind of standard outcome to do a research. In order to get awarded with a PhD degree or with a master's degree in research, you need to produce a significant outcome, and the outcome should be validated and reliable and trustworthy. So how can you say that this is all very good? So nowadays, so many rumors are actually spreading across about the predatory journals. I don't want to talk about it much. The predatory journals, meaning to say that lack of citations probably. So the citation indexed journals are gaining more focus into the minds of the researchers, scholars, and scientists, because they refer to the standards and having the good citation and impact factors, citation scores and impact factors. Yeah, moving on. And as I mentioned earlier, just a few slides back, this also influences the research area, current research area. This is just an example. I don't want to highlight here anything. This is an example. Based on the General Citation Reports 2017, based on the categories, neurosciences. In the neurosciences, if you look at it, most top cited journal is based on the anatomy and physiology, the neurosciences, and the second one is anatomy and morphology, and the third one is physiology, based on the gender. This is how the discipline that can attain a status. That means, meaning to say that the status indicates the global focus area and the thirst areas to do and to develop new policies or new proposals to do the research activities. However, I can share my own personal experience at this point of time. Malaysian thirst areas, diabetes, obesity, cancer, and so on. So I developed a very good proposal based on diabetes and obesity combination, diabesity. It's a new form of the pathogenesis associated with both the diseases. Certainly, the scientific community has looked into the proposal and they could identify the importance and keeping to the current scenario. So I could manage to get approval and research fund to do the research. So this is how we can actually look into the current scenario. For example, if you ask me, this is about the 2017 statistics. Right now, at the moment, the global perspective, if I ask you all, what do you say? Undoubtedly, corona, anti-corona development. So whatever it may be, it can be a vaccine or drug or any kit, or whatever it may be, now the complete focus in research areas. And so many projects actually been opening and calling for the research proposals based on the coronavirus drug discovery and coronavirus product development and so on. So that's what I just want to highlight here. The citation, how actually it influences the research area and discipline in global environment. So moving on, dear participants. So at last, what is the major challenge in academic setting? What is the major challenge in academic setting? If you look at the major challenges, we have lots of resources and enormous data, big data, simply I can say big data. You know, nowadays, big data analysis gaining a very good attention and acceleration in the field of big data analytics. If you just look into that, what is the main thing we have to do? Just think about it. organizing the data. So organizing data is a very, very key component in the present scenario to organize the related resources. So sometimes this organizing data could be a hectic process. This could be a hectic process, meaning to say that the student or researcher may be facing a lot of challenges to organize their data due to lack of practice, lack of knowledge on the concepts of using citation or referencing with management tools and so on. So ultimately, this leads to the simpler ways. Definitely, they would find the simpler ways, alternative ways. That certainly leads to plagiarism. So this is the main academic challenge, major challenge. So bringing the concepts and usages and practices, best ways to implementation to the group of people, large group of people like you all, definitely enhances the better understanding of the concepts associated with the plagiarism and citation and referencing, and definitely all will practice the best ways. So moving on, this is the main challenge. So I want to give full training to you all. I would say the instructional training, but not hands-on training. Since this is a large group section, I may not be having a synchronous process of simultaneous instructions and operation. So I will give the complete instructional training, meaning to say that the instructional training includes, I will show every single instruction and all these things will be recorded for your later use. And this is the basic training. Please don't consider this as the advanced level. This is the basic training for the introduction of the management tools and different types of references and some basic working environments. Okay, moving on. So our major task of today's webinar section is how to avoid citation errors. So as we know, citation, as we also could see from various citation errors, possibility of citations are mainly due to the manual reason, and also it's a tedious process to do that. So citation management tools could be potential alternatives. So let's move on to use how to use the citation management tools. All those things I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to operate the screen one by one instruction of the famous softwares. I'm going to disclose the details later. These are the various tools available. And I'm happy to say that two of the tools which are included in this list I'm going to share with you all. So what are those two tools? It's a bit surprise to you all. Just wait and see. Okay, now moving on to talk. I want to talk about at this point, dear participants, literature as major source of citation. Because we are already entered into our focused group discussion on the academic section and plagiarism and publication point of view and citation and referencing with respect to the developing a manuscript or developing a literature review or review article like that. So what is the major source of citation? I just want to introduce a case study in a very, very rapid manner. So where do I start is the question. Where do I start? This is the question I'm going to raise. So can the hemoglobin A1C be used for diagnosis of diabetes? Is the research question. Dear participants, this is the research question. You are going to survey and do the search about this concept. So how do you start? Is there any guess? What's the best source of doing the best search? Please try to indicate in your YouTube chat box. What's the best source you can start right now? I'm just giving some time to you all. I'm taking time to myself as well. So let us see how we are going to move forward. And this is a very big dynamic condition, because in this dynamic condition, any budding researcher, the moment they enter into the research project or research course, that means Doctor of Philosophy education, immediately the first question comes into mind is all about how to start and where do I start. So how to start and where do you start is all about depends on the literature and your research question. What is your research question? Then based on the research question, you may need to develop the research hypothesis followed by the objectives to fulfill the research question again. It's a triangle in this process. So you may need to have a better literature search strategy. This literature search strategy will enables you to give a better insights to the complete overview of the concept you are planning and proposing to do the research. How? I just show in a random slide very fast. So do you have any strategy? What I mean to say is general search strategy should be there. So every strategy, what the search strategy you are implementing should be recorded and documented. This is how you can say that this is how the meta-analysis, the scientific review has been performed before I come to the decision that my research work is entirely novel, which is not yet reported earlier. How can you say that? It's only possible if you do a better search of the literature using a general search strategy. This is the search strategy. If you see, dear participants, or this is the strategy when I used it for some time ago in the IMU research library. Depends on the research sources available. This is because this strategy is not a standard strategy, but there should be a some strategy. It depends on how much access you have. What are the various databases, resources you have the access. Without access, even if you put the search strategy, what you can do? It's all about having access also matters. At this point of time, so many other factors will also influence this process actually. That means the subscriptions to the university or subscription to the institution you are belongs to. And that certainly sometimes will enhance your learning or research experience. Sometimes it may inhibit your experience as well, because so many other factors will come into discussion. So general search strategy initiated search using search strings. First of all, you need to start using a search string based on the research question and divide the question into different strings and followed by search keywords. Here the search keywords HbA1c, diabetes, like that. And Boolean operators. What are these Boolean operators? And, or, other, like that. These are the Boolean operators that you can, for example, HbA1c and diabetes. Diabetes or HbA1c. Like that, you can use Boolean operators in between the search words, and you can develop some general search strategy. And mainly because you can see n number of articles or publications and resources will come up. N number, really. How can you do that? How can you manage such a huge library? And definitely, I can say that most of the information may be not so much related to your area. Since due to the search word, the outcomes of the documents will be very huge. So in keeping in view of all those things, so you may need to apply some inclusion and exclusion criteria. So upon applying those things, you may get some number. And what is this number? This number is the number of resources. So later on, these number of resources can be well organized by yourself using either way also can actually manually or using a reference management tool. So moving on, I just want to show a quick view of how I managed to get this information. So first, my literature search will be nature database. Nature database, one of the world famous nature, as you all know, high impact journals are coming from this nature database, and the total 157 results. Can you see, dear participants? 150 results, 57 results. Similarly, this is one of the most important article I could able to grab after application of my inclusion and exclusion filters. And the inclusion and exclusion filters that could be confidential, and this could be a private and independent search strategy as well. You may not, until it get published, you may not disclose to any other fellow researcher. So, but developing a search strategy in general could be more useful to the whole research community. That's what I actually explained a few minutes back. Okay, now moving on, the next one is OVID database. OVID database is also, and I could see that 10 important results actually, 10 important results. Next followed by, I considered all we taking next in the Science Direct, 2,983 results. Science Direct database. And in the Scopus database, 55,699. Oh, it's very, very high. How can I manage? It's very difficult. So later on, Springer's database, 1,840. And Biomed Central database, 518. And most importantly, the US government database, PubMed, 4538, 4,538. And PubMed Central, 2,125. And other than databases, now I just implemented a general search using the browsers. So based on the browsers, how many? Here you can see 3,82,000. A general search in the browser. Google browser, a well-known browser, even Yahoo browser. You can see 4,19,000 results, even much more outcomes compared to the Google. And the same string I used once again in the Bing browser, which actually yields 1,68,000 results. So what I want to summarize from these results and all these things, I need to do a lot of analysis. What kind of analysis is all about? The analysis is related to filtering the resources to more specific resources and items related to my specific area of research. How can you do that? Just I explained by applying some filters, exclusion filters, and related to your, it all actually depends on the type of research and the area of research you actually involve. So similarly, the Wikipedia. So next, moving on, the Google Scholar. Google Scholar, you could see their participants, 22,700. So directory of open access journals. So these are all, and PLOS journals. World Health Organization website got 7 results. And now I need to clearly summarize the data I received from different databases and browsers. So this is the very challenging, very challenging activity. So if you closely look into the number of records retrieved and review elements of the search results, in total how many I selected. This is the general information I am providing. You may be select more compared to my one. It's all about the how many screening filters you are actually applying and what is the criteria of doing the screening filters. It's all about the validation of your filters. So next, moving on, the review elements for the next number of records, the other databases and Google. At last, I selected only the best outcomes after applying my results and after applying my filters and careful examination of the articles associated, and I just only, because my research question is very specific. Since it is very specific, so I end up with a pretty limited number of articles which I could manage to do the referencing and citation in a very well-organized manner. But this is not the case in all the aspects. So, because sometimes when we start a generalized research with a basic question that explores a very uh, multi-dimensional aspects, for example, if you consider taking a drug, a medicine, meaning to say medicine, so many things will comes under medicine, side effects, therapeutic benefits, dosage forms, like that, different aspects. So which area you are actually related to and how you are going to utilize this information for developing your literature review is all matters. This is what actually bit tedious process, but it's one of the research credential and responsibility of a research scholar. So moving on, so this is the time now, how to manage and organize citations, basic instructional training. It's time to start some training. So far we discussed extensively on all the various matters related to the citation and referencing. Now I'm going to do some demonstration and I will explain how this actually, the software will works and what are the best ways to do the citation and referencing using the standalone software. I'm going to demonstrate now. On-screen instructions can be seen. You all can access to the on-screen instructions, and I will give the simultaneous on-screen instruction, the cursor movement as well as the narration. So basic instructional training on reference management tools, or also called as citation management tools. Without any further delay, I'm just planning to start the software component which I'm going to introduce to you all is Mendeley. So Mendeley is the software, the reference management tool that we are going to discuss in the next few minutes. I'm going to show you the operation. Before that, I have to give some standing instructions so that you all can able to work with this software effectively later. Okay. What can I do now? Dear organizer, can I seek some help about this? How can I move to the screen sharing? Do I need to stop sharing first? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
No, I am planning to do sharing of my desktop screen now. How can I proceed now?
Stop sharing your screen, sir.
First, I should stop sharing my screen. Am
Yes,
I
sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next. Okay, stop sharing.
And now, again, once you have selected the software, start sharing the screen once again.
Software. Excuse me. Can you please explain to me once again? Can you see my desktop now?
No, sir. You have not yet started the screen.
Which screen I need to? Okay. Do I need to select the screen that is desktop? Desktop.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. I understood. I'll proceed. Share screen. Now, instructional training will be starting shortly on Mendeley. So, screen. Okay, this is the screen. first I need to open the Mendeley browser. Can you all able to see my browser, Mendeley?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, dear participants, this is the Mendeley's website. This Mendeley's website, this is one of the well-known reference management software. And this reference management software is completely free to use. So you can open access. This is open access. So you can happily use this one without paying or without subscription of any of the attributions of this software. So you can just download. But before that, in order to do the downloading, you may need to create an account. So first you go to create account. Go to create account. This create account option will brings you to the next page where you can actually enter your details and create an account. Okay, this is the place where you can actually create your account. For example, you can enter your email. You can enter your email. Since I have already signed in with one of the account, so I don't need any account further. So you may consider putting your email address here and continue further. You will be diverted to another page, and there you need to select the password for the login sign in password and for this one. And later on you will be given, I just enter my account and I will show how it will appear. So this is the sign-in page, dear participants. You can, since I already signed up before, you can, again, my passport is the credential over here. It's already remembering. So I just press sign in. This is the elsewhere mediated account, which will provide the access to Mendeley software. Friends, since we are using 3 devices on this. So there we are. Here you can see, can you, here, download Mendeley, get reference manager. You can see here. Some still need to upload a few more information. So this is the citation manager. This is the citation manager. There are various applications actually. Here, the second application you can also see the web type browser. The web type browser, which is also useful directly to give the citation using online resources, and it will store the information directly into your personal account. And this is the plugin. You can see the Mendeley importer, web importer. You can see the Mendeley web importer. This is what I mean to say. The Mendeley web importer. So Mendeley web importer, you all can see here. This is what the Mendeley web import sign and plug it into your Google browser or some other browser. It will appear because it works with Mozilla Firefox and Internet Explorer and some other browsers also working actually. Mendeley is not limited to Google itself. But you can see the Mendeley browser, the moment web importer, if I add here, automatically I can save all the references whenever I do search online and whenever I do my literature survey in other place without the, for example, sometimes I may not carry this laptop and this my system all the time I may not be able to carry. So whenever if I find opportunity with other place to find some literature, then I can actually save all this information into my online web importer into my account. It will be automatically saved into my web importer. But this is the main function of this Mendeley web importer. Mendeley web importer, and you can actually download. You can actually download from here. This is actually my personal account. I entered into the personal account. If you go to the download, similarly, the same type of personal account you also will be getting once upon registration done. Once if you go to the download page, okay, now go to the download page. You can see clearly download Mendeley desktop for Windows. In case if you are using Mac OS, you can have option of this one to download. And in case if you have the Linux environment, you can make use of this one. Okay. And just now I mentioned about the web importer. This is the web importer. You can even download from here or just one click. It will automatically add it to, because I have already been added. So I am not clicking here. So in just one click, it will automatically add to your browser. And this is the citation plugin. And this citation plugin will enable you to get the information from the online search, and it will directly synchronize it to the desktop version. That's I'm exactly going to show. So research on the go with your mobile apps. This actually can also access using your mobile phone or the tablet. So this is all about the basic information, the technical information on how to open a account, to sign into the Mendeley's desktop and to download the version and successfully install into your system. And upon doing that, you may now proceed to, I just want to proceed now. So this is the Mendeley desktop version I'm going to open. The moment you open the Mendeley desktop version, this Mendeley desktop version will ask you for the login credentials. The login credentials are the same as what you actually use for the for opening the account. Once upon successfully entering the credentials, automatically you will be directed to this page. Once you enter into this page, you can see, dear participants, you have to carefully observe at this point of time. This is very important instruction. This instruction will enable you to download, actually import documents library. See, imports documents or library. Welcome to Reference Manager. You need to check for these two components compulsory. Why? Because these two components will enable you to organize your research in a very, very fruitful manner. How I'm going to show you in the next few minutes. Okay, this is the reference manager. As you can see, the green color installed. So already the software being installed in my computer. And next one, citation plug for Microsoft Word document. Why this citation? Because the participant, this is very important. Citation plug, because this citation plug will actually enable you to directly bring the article information and to enable you to cite in the document in a very, very easy manner. So this is one of the best synchronous application as I can see. So further I want to show you this one. This is the main platform. Oh, something is obstructing here. So this is where you can also see add and create. Click here to import documents and folders to your library or create new entries manually. So we can actually create new entries manually in the sense, this is also, although it is a reference management tool, you can also enter the manual details for the documents which are not electronically existing, or the documents which cannot be readable by this particular software. For example, very old documents, only we have the scanned versions or images or hard copies. Such documents may not be able to process directly through electronic digital coding and decoding process into this software. It's not possible. So there is also an option to enter the details manually into the software. So add or create, click here, import documents, folder to your library, or click new entries manually, like that. So this is one of the important options. So now I just navigate the options and attributes present over here. There are, if you look into the process, all documents, the my library, literature set. So Mendeley literature set. What is this literature set? So this is the wonderful option for you all. You don't need to actually go and search in the Google and adding to the Mendeley web importer and from there to synchronize it to the desktop. No need to do such constraint things. Actually, you can do literature search directly in the Mendeley software itself. You can see it. It's a very good option. So, for example, diabetes. I'm going to type diabetes. So, dear participants, you all can realize now, see how many results are actually loading. Various types of diabetes articles and related guidelines from National Institute of Health and Ministry of Health sources and Diabetic Care Journal, and keep loading. Why? Because net is a bit slow. There are some technical constraints. However, just I want to, because this is an instructional training, later on, based on this instructional training, you can explore on your own, because the self-directed learning could be a long-lasting retention to your personal information. I'm telling you, dear participants, a self-directed learning will retain really long. So this is the trigger. It is an initiator. Enable you to practice this software. Just go to the literature search and put your topic of interest over here, and you may look into the possible results. And in case if anything related to you, or it may not be related to you, so you can use this option as one of the search option. And otherwise, you can also do the other thing like downloading the articles directly from the journal in case if your institution having subscription to do so. Okay, next. And moving on, the My Library. This is the most important area where we can store all the information and associate literature review articles and the books information, everything we can actually store at this place. Okay, dear participants. Okay, now all documents and groups, actually we can even create group. So now this is synchronous button. What is this synchronous? Just I mentioned few minutes back, synchronous, because sometimes you may need to search in the web, where actually how to then, okay, you are searching in the web and you are importing all the information into web importer. So how you can actually download into the desktop? So this search option actually enables you to download, and it will enable the connectivity to the web importer and synchronize the information. So whatever the information you add to the web importer automatically will be downloaded into this desktop platform as well. So this is how you can actually do the synchronization of the desktop application with the web importer. Okay, now the folders. So generally when you are organizing, so yeah, you can actually create some folders by pressing here the folder create button, create new folder. You can actually give the name. Okay, actually you can create multiple folders. Like for example, if you want to organize all your citations related to the introduction in one folder, related to materials and methods in the one folder, results and discussion in one folder, and so on, you can actually do that. And the multiple folders can be created, and later on you can add the associated articles and you can create the bibliography. So how to create the bibliography and all we will see shortly. Now I need some articles to explain and demonstrate to you how this works actually. So I may need to bring some research articles from my personal folder, or I have to. So this is actually my library created using another software. Okay, I just do one thing. Since because I just copied everything into my drive. Okay, I use direct search. Okay, I can directly use this search available here. So this is what the search available here. So I just review the information here, which one is the best one. American Diabetic Association Executive Summary Standards and all. So just for training purpose, I'm randomly selecting some information just for training purpose. Okay, the moment the site, the information that I have selected, immediately can you see the documentation information? That means you see the type, journal article, what is the title, what is the author name, and which journal is this, what is the year of publication, when, now what's the abstract, and tag. So here tag, what is this tag? I want to explain to you all in detail. What about this tag? This tag is actually the name that actually you can actually provide a specific name to identify at later stage, because if you keep on adding your resources to that software, at one point of time you may be having several resources, and how to retrieve information as fast as possible. If you want to retrieve information as fast as possible, you can create some coding. That coding, the coding with respect to introduction, the coding with respect to materials and methods, coding respect to results and discussion, and so on. And that code number or tag number or name, you can actually enter here. For example, this is not responsive, but actually this is one, you can enter the tag name. The tag name can be entered here, no doubt. This tag name you can use as a reference source for the future retrieving and organizing all your references at later stage and to handle at the later stage. And after adding the information, you need to save the reference. This document is not in your library, so you need to save the reference. So that now it is saved in your library. Until now, it is not actually present in your library. That could be the possible reason why the tag name is not allowed. Now, if I look into the, see, just now I added and saved the document to the library. Its document is already been entered into the library and it's already been present here. Now I can say here, for example, one. This is my tag. Similarly, intro. This could be another tag. So what is the good of this tagging? This tagging can actually brings you, you may ask, brings you the document very fast upon doing immediate tag search. And this tag search is applicable throughout the resources available in this software. And not only that, what is the advantage of tagging compared to the naming? You may also say that, why can't we give simple names rather than tagging? There is only one name possible to give, but in tagging, you can give multiple tags for a single source. That's the best way. You understand? So this is very good thing actually. So once sometimes the same reference may be used in other time, some other time. So if you use a tag, that can be retrieved very fast. If you use a specific name to that, it's quite difficult and tedious to give multiple names to different resources. At later stage, almost giving the names is also handling the same huge data. So tagging is one of the best option you can actually take into consideration. And before that, as I just mentioned, this is just a search. So these are the various search results. Actually, I can put load more result. Keep on. How many database of search is possible? It will load more result. So I'm just loading more and more results and to screen my research interest with different top rated journal articles or various types of resources possible. And the moment you select, here tagging is not possible. Just now we experienced some technical difficulty. Why? Because this article is actually from the search, not from your library. The editing is only allowed to the library component. So first of all, you may need to save the reference successfully into your library, then followed by you can do some editing. And editing is not only applicable for tag. You can edit any field actually. Any field you can actually edit. If you, for example, here there is one more constraint I have to highlight. Sometimes you also may not be having chance to identify some details. That means some details will be missing by default. It happens. Don't think everything is very, very accurate in terms of electronic. So don't ever trust completely and blindly. That's the major problem. So this is what actually sometimes some related information like volume number, some information will be missing. You have to carefully observe when you are taking into consideration of any article to cite. You have to carefully observe. So for example, if you see here, volume, there is no information. Issue, there is no information. Pages, there is no information. So this whether, see for example, what type of thing is this? Journal article. So just imagine, it's rather unusual to have this kind of information, because a journal article means you can generally have journal article names and author names, title and issues, pages. But in this case, unfortunately, you could not see some information. This information is missing. So that's what I mean to say. So never take it as granted that electronic information is complete. You may need to cross check again, dear participants. Okay. So this is how we can make use of this side panel. This left hand side panel. These are the documents recently added, recently read, favorites, my publications. And my publications, actually, you can track your own publications and research. Actually, you can add your own publications if published and other informations. Okay. Now, I just wanted to add few more articles to show the citation process in a clear-cut manner. So I just go to literature review and search. Conference, because I just want to consider taking few journal articles. Okay, this is journal article. After adding save reference, maybe this is the journal article, save reference. So these are some of the 1, 2, and 3, and 4. These are some of the journal articles I have successfully added to my library. Okay, this library, let us assume I'm not going to do is in a massive way. It is going to show some basic preliminary operations to you all, and later on you may need to explore with your huge library. Okay, this can be possible at later stage on your own laptops. So now moving on, what I mean to say, how to document these citations. How to document these citations. You may need to open first Word document. Just open the Word document. Now, please all of you carefully observe. Go to the references. Go to the references. Under the references attribute, the task pane, you may need to see compulsory this Mendeley, this symbol, insert citation, this Mendeley symbol, meaning to say that this already been plugged into your Word documentation. So later on, you can actually perform the citation process in a effective manner, because without this plugin icon, you may not be able to do the expected activity, that is organizing your references in a well-versed manner. So in insert citation, this is the icon where you may need to click and you need to insert one by one. Before that, you may need to have some text, some sort of text. Just diabetes, because what we are actually searching for is all about diabetes. Okay. is it? Metabolic disorder. Okay, just metabolic disorder. I just mentioned something. Okay, now I'm going to cite the references. You all can carefully watch the instructions how I am going to cite the references. Okay, now just go to insert citation, and from your library, you can see here search by author, title, or my library. You can see your library. You can see library, National Diabetes Statistics Report. Just entering a simple keyword automatically, you can actually print. Just a second. It's experiencing some delay. Okay. It's very slow. So National Diabetes Statistics, just I entered, okay, the simple one, I press okay. I'm facing some hanging problem. So this one diabetes, I actually cited into the text. This is called in-text citation. Dear participants, this is not referencing, this is in-text citation. So the in-text citation I have successfully started. And which referencing style is this? Do you want to know which referencing style is this? Okay. Currently, the style is, can you all able to see here the style? What style is this? The style is Harvard reference format. Okay, you may need other format. For example, the most widely used format for biomedical and health sciences is Vancouver. So you may go to Vancouver at later. Vancouver, automatically it has converted into Vancouver style. This is the very excellent option exists in this reference management tool. Because, for example, you targeted one potential journal in the research area you are working, and unfortunately, the journal rejected your paper. And this journal, the rejected journal, having MLA type of citation style. And the second journal you targeted again is the Vancouver style requirement. So if you want to do manually all the citations change to Vancouver, so many citation errors are possible, and chances of getting lot of discrepancies, I mean to say, discrepancies and technical errors. So this is the best way of using the reference management tool for converting one form, that means one style, one citation style, to another citation style very, very easily. This is what I just wanted to say. So I just, in your presence, I changed from Harvard to Vancouver. So the Vancouver style. The moment this, for example, this is just a one line. I'm giving instructional training. This applicable to the whole document. How big your document may be, data maybe you may be handling with 500 references. You can actually easily can do that, and all 500 references can be easily transformed from one style to another style very, very easily. However, how many styles are actually existing? More than 6,000 styles actually existing in Mendeley software. More than 6,000 styles. In case if any style is not actually available here, actually you can go to the Mendeley, and also you can look into the different other styles. One minute. Here. Yes, this is the option, open Mendeley. Okay, in this option, in this actual attribute, you can see different other options are present. Get more styles. In case if you are not satisfied with these styles, don't think that these are only the limited styles available in the software. You can actually get all other styles. It depends on your requirements and the basic search how you are going to perform, and get more styles here. You can, for example, with respect to my field of expertise, I want American chemical style. Yes, this one is the American Chemical Society style, so that I can select directly from here and install. So what is the status? Can you all able to see? Installed means the citation which I require already been installed into my plugin. Okay, now done. So I can now convert Vancouver to the required American chemical style. American Chemical Society, and done. The system is a bit slow. Actually, here the option is there. Use this style. If you press this option, automatically this style will be applied to the document. Okay, this is how you can perform, and you can also access different other styles as well. So yes, I got it. So this is the American Chemical Society style. That is the superscript form. So dear participants, with this you can actually realize very easily that this software can make our job, the tedious job, and managing our references, all these tedious works in a very simplified manner. So we can, I think, using this kind of, not only this software, there are several softwares actually. I'm going to talk about this one since I'm using this as one of the famous open source software. Mendeley, most widely scientific community people, most widely used software is this, as I can also see from the ratings given across the across the different studies performed by the researchers and published. So looking into all other aspects, I selected this tool, and there are other subscribed tools also there. Some EndNote Riff works, some additional features also available in the sophisticated softwares as well. So now the next one, if you look into, so this is the in-text citation. What I am talking about is all in-text citation. Now, how to, for example, I already come to the end of the document. All the documents, all the citations already done. You may need to put the references now. This references section or bibliographic section. In case if you cite the documents other than the journal articles and books and so on, you may need to consider this as a bibliography as well. The references, just how to keep the document, very simple. Just go to insert bibliography and press. Automatically your document will be in a prescribed format. And one more thing, participants, don't think that I did not cover on the anatomy of the style. Why I didn't cover specifically? Because this is a generalized topic. We may need to discuss each and every style. That is actually more specific to every single citation, there are so many additional information actually present for Harvard style, Vancouver style. For example, even in Harvard style, how books should be cited. Even in Vancouver, how the what are the journal articles should be cited, how the single author journals will be cited, how multiple authors journals will be cited. So different aspects are there. So that is all comes under actually anatomy of the citation styles. That is integral part of the citation style. It's not so, I don't think so much useful at this point of time. Later, of course, is very useful, but I would say the reference management tool is the first basic application everyone must be familiar with. That intention of doing that, I mentioned this. So this is how we can actually do in-text citations and the bibliography at the end of the one. Okay, this is how we can do, and this is the insert bibliography. Automatically it will be inserted, and you can actually do one more thing. All export citations can be exported into without Mendeley fields. In the sense it won't be compatible with the Mendeley anymore, and in case if you change anything, there will be no changes will be imposed to the bibliography or references section, and this is Mendeley fields will be removed. Okay. Next one, what I want to show you is all about direct uploading of the articles. Direct uploading of the articles. For example, I want to go to Google search, Scholar. So in this Google Scholar, we can actually italic errors, for example, drug design. I put drug design, some basic italic errors I mentioned when I search for this information. Okay, if any PDF is available, for example, you can see here, the moment I arrived to this page, here, to the web importer. I'm going to enter into the web importer. Slow in loading, taking time. Because I have another web importer. Yes, of course. Now I am here already. So whatever the documents, all the documents present in this Google search page already in the available in the Mendeley's web importer. You can actually select all the documents by selecting this option, select all, or if not, one by one, individually based on your interest, you can actually select. The Organic Chemistry of Drug Design and Drug Action, third edition, PDF is actually available. This is the book. So whichever the material, you can actually see PDF not found. So whichever is the, you can see the PDF icon is available. You can see the document. This one is free access to download. So now, for example, I just want to move on to the next page. So 3D QSR in drug design, theory and models applications, for example, current concepts and designs. It's taking time to load. okay. It's taking some time. Okay. Now, functionalized carbon nanotubes in drug design. And I just wanted to have this article, add to Mendeley. Here the option I selected and add to Mendeley. Just press add to Mendeley, it will be added. This is the web importer where you are adding directly into your account, online account. Whatever you are selecting will be automatically saved into your online account. This information can be shared with your collaborators, or you can actually download later on into your standalone software once you get connected with your laptop. And you can even transfer this one into multiple systems and so on. And just come and check over here. Is there recently added? Since the plugin is the one, because I have already the Zotero plugin, I could not put that plugin. The Mendeley web importer. They need you need a one more plugin. That plugin is called Citation plugin. This is Citation plugin. This is the citation plugin. You may need to download and you can install it later. And you can actually synchronize between various gadgets. Like see, get Mendeley site into your mobile or tablet, and you can actually synchronize across various types of devices. This option is actually available. And this is how you can actually add to the web importer. This web importer, the moment you add it, will automatically go into your website, your online account. Just wanted to show you any documents downloads. Okay, I have some literature. Okay, let's consider taking this one. Okay, just let us assume that this is the literature of your one. You can actually directly drag and drop into the folder. Dear participants, can you all able to see? Just now I dragged and dropped into the library. This article, the bibliographic details have already been reflected here. So just dragging and dropping your data from the original source, that means directly from the desktop, actually you can drag and drop directly into the document. It is one of the best option where this is a hassle-free option where you can do this process immediately without actually struggling to organize all the information into different folders and giving serial numbers and all. No, just download. The moment you download, immediately you can drag and drop into the Mendeley web the desktop version. And once it dragged and dropped into this one, you can actually tag with suitable name, for example, design, okay, with suitable name design and so on. And this is how actually you can perform various operations. But actually this is a just basic instructional training limited due to the time limitation. We just actually crossed 2 hours of facilitation, and I just wanted to keep it short. At this point of time, I planning to conclude this instructional training on Mendeley. So I just covered what are the things I mainly covered. I just give you an overview. Citation within the in-text citation within the document, and how to generate the bibliography, how to change between the citation styles from one style to other style, and how to drag and drop the documents, literature files and publication articles into the My Library, and how to import the online articles into using web importer Mendeley, and how to open your own account and activate using your email address and all, and how to synchronize this one with the Mendeley documents, and so on. And the plugin with the Word document is one of the critical future, mainly useful for the research scholars who are actually drafting their PhD or dissertations and thesis. So I just want to go back to our presentation. This is all about the Mendeley usage, one of the most widely used reference management tool, the Mendeley desktop version. This is all about, these are the nearly 6,000 citation styles are present in this software, and you can install all different styles and you can actually change. And one thing is, frequent practice is important, and self-directed exploration is important, not just matter of this 1 or 2 hours. You may need to do some practice at an individual pace. Okay. So I'm just to stop working on the Mendeley for now. Moving back to the presentation. So this is all about the basic instructional training on Mendeley referencing tool, reference management tool. So I just wondering, any one of the participants, can you explain my approach? In my approach, unfortunately, I turned the screen, but I just wanted to check whether you have seen that or not. In the out of the because in the approach I used 5W 1H approach. I think you all remember 5W 1H approach, but I missed 1W addressing related to the citation and references. So what is that W? I meaning to say that what. So I just covered 4 different W's. One W I just missed it intentionally. What is that W? If you possible to identify, can you please type in the chat box if you are present? Okay, without further delay, I just want to mention that W, the left one is, I haven't discussed about 1W, when to do it. When to do it. The answer for this, no need to discuss separately. If not now, when? Start now. Start now doing the referencing citations and practicing the best practices of the referencing tools available and online, and try to familiarize with new concepts and new tools available in the online web server based, and make use of all the resources available and enhance your learning experience, research experience and teaching experience. That's what I would like to give the complete description about the citation and references. What could be the take home message? Keep calm and cite your sources. Now I would like to acknowledge distinguished persons associated with this presentation. Professor Dr. Muhammad Zulkifli, Dean, School of Pharmacy, International Medical University, Malaysia. Professor Dr. Ramchining, Associate Dean, Academic, School of Pharmacy, IMU. Professor Dr. Mallikarjun Rao, Associate Dean, Research, SOP, IMU. Dr. Lee Choi Singh, Head of the Department, Pharmachem Department, School of Pharmacy, IMU. Professor Dr. T.V. Narayanan, National President, Indian Pharmaceutical Association, India. Professor Dr. S. Vijayadhara, Chairman, Indian Pharmaceutical Association, Education Division, India. Professor Dr. Y. Rajendra Prasad, Andhra University College of Pharmaceutical Sciences, India, my research supervisor and my dear mentor, and Dr. R. Srinivas, President, Dr. C.N. Srinivas, Secretary and corresponding of Chebrolu Hanmaya Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences, India, Associate Professor Dr. V. Venkat Rao, my dearest friend, CHIPS, India, webinar conveners and organizing team, Dr. Pavan Kumar and Dr. Raghava Kalyan for introducing me, India, and press and media. Thank you all for giving me this wonderful opportunity. These are my references. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, sir. I would again like to repeat the sentence by saying that it was indeed very enlightening and very interactive this time, especially the software aspect that you have dealt with it. It was very interactive. And without any delay, I just have 2-3 questions before we conclude this. The first question that I would like to ask you is about, you were mentioning about this Mendeley software.
Yeah.
So the articles that we necessarily have to store for our research. So does this software help us identify those articles, or it just helps in storing our articles for a better citation?
Dr. Raghava Kalyan, very good question you raised, and actually this software can do both the operations.
Okay, it can.
It can store the information provided by you in the form of Mendeley readable format. At the same time, it can also read the external sources whenever it can be used, like from web importer. I also highlighted about one integrated function of the Mendeley, that is literature search can also be performed inside, because this is the search engine as like Google, but integrated into the Mendeley. So you can actually make use of the search engine as well to identify the articles of your interest. But it can do both the operations actually.
Okay, sir. And the second thing is that while demonstrating, you selected some articles from the Google Scholar, and then later you incorporated into this Mendeley software.
Yes.
So during that process, all the articles where we don't have an available PDF format, can that be accessed via Mendeley?
Very good question once again. But unfortunately, the articles which were not available in full length article, you may need to subscribe to that journal, or you may need to buy that particular journal, unfortunately. Or otherwise, we may look into the directory of open access journals, whether this journal is covering into directory of open access journals or not. In case if it is covering under DOAJ, definitely you can get full article. Yeah. DOAJ, definitely you can get full length article, but some of the articles like Nature's, for example, American Chemical Society or ACS are paid versions actually. We may need to pay for that. $35 sometimes, otherwise 60 euros. It depends on. Even our researchers also, even sometimes Nature articles we may need to buy suddenly. All of a sudden, the article is very interesting, and that article is one of the basic for the initiating research. So immediately, researcher will pay money to buy. Of course, IMU has separate funding for that, and we will give the claim back to the students. Yeah, students can claim.
Okay, sir. Sir, can you just about, because you're talking something about the citation methods like the Harvard thing and Vancouver thing. Can you just brief about the new citation system by name Clarivate Analytics?
This is actually Dr. Raghava. This is not the citation system. This is just a database. This database is actually maintaining the Clarivate Analyticals is actually maintaining, as I mentioned, matrices, journal matrices. These journal matrices are different scores generated by the different companies. Among all
Okay.
the companies, which one is more standardized, as we all know, with mostly how many we will consider? Journal citation reports, even UGC also will consider to consider, and cite score of the scopus. And nowadays, Web of Science, which is actually covers under private analytics. Web of Science and the other one is Web of Research. In this again, there are several indexes like emerging source citation index. These are all different categories. They have subjected based on the specializations or disciplines and not based on the impact factors.
Okay. So it's more of a module. It's more of a database, not a.
Not a specific standard. For example, clavate analytics means what is the score, and there is no such thing.
Okay. So it's more of Web of Science. Is it mainly about Web of Science?
Yeah, Web of Science as well, WOS and WR also there, Web of Research. And
Okay,
emerging source science citation, ESCI.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. And very quickly, and this is the very last question that somebody has asked us, is that in case if they found any interesting graphical representations or Venn diagrams or any sort of representations that they identify in a journal, in case if they can reconstruct the same graph somewhere in PowerPoint and then use it in research, should they still be cited?
Still they need to be cited, provided for doing any commercialization, for example, publication or doing reproducing, you definitely need to take the permission from the corresponding author. And not only that, because the corresponding author actually transfer the copyrights to the journal publishing company, so the mutual agreement from the corresponding author and also from, because although the transfer agreement is already done, still corresponding author has some right on the material. So based on that right, corresponding author and journal, the company both will provide the access to that particular item. If you want to present as it is in your one, again, for example, if you want to do something different from that, basing on that concept, actually we can do, but still you need to give citation. Otherwise, it is considered as fabrication.
Yes. Okay. So
The
it has to be.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Compulsory citation should be there. And in nowadays, if you see, look into the images, there are several filters we can apply. In the filters, you can set, apply the filter, no licensed and copyrighted material. If you apply that filter, only the free available, the GPU licensed, general public user licensed, Creative Commons licensed information material only will come up. So you can freely use that.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Okay, sir. Thank you. So these were the questions that we had for you. And once again, thank you so much for the enlightening information that you gave us in this session. And now I would like to request Dr. Ramesh Babu, Head of the Department Pharmaceutics, to please propose the vote of thanks for today's webinar. Over to you, sir.
A very good evening, one and all. On behalf of Cerebral Hanmaya Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences, take the role of proposing this vote of thanks. At the outset, I take privilege in thanking Dr. Rao Avupati, President, Commonwealth Pharmacists Association, and immediate past President of IPA, for spending his valuable time and knowledge with all of us today. Thank you, sir. I take privilege in thanking Dr. Vasudeva Rao Avupati for his constant association with the CHIPS and sharing all his sound knowledge over the period of time. Thank you, Dr. Vasudeva Rao. We are looking forward for more. Next, I thank all my organizing team members, Dr. Venkatrao, Dr. Pawan Kumar, Dr. Raghav Kalyan, and Dr. Chakravarti for their efforts in making of this webinar a success. I also thanks all staff of our college and management of our CHIPS for their active involvement and help. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, Ramesh Babu.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for dictating vote of thanks. You have taken